Hey everyone, welcome back to the Web3 way, where we break down blockchain and its technology in a way that it's clear, insightful, and sometimes even fun. As you know, my name is Proxy and I'm a blockchain developer.
Hey everyone, I'm Millimeter. Today we're talking about one of the most important concepts of blockchain itself. It's called the layered architecture of blockchain. If you have ever wondered how chains like Solana, Ethereum, and other various blockchains, and then basically talk about the relationship with wallets like MetaMask, or perhaps protocols like Aave, Uniswap, and various other protocols. If you have ever wondered or thought about it sequentially, this is the right episode for you.
Yeah, so we'll be going from the ground level of layer 0 down to layer 4. We'll be kind of like explaining the differences between these layers, layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, like the relationship and what kind of binds them together, if there's any relationship at all between any of the layers.
And when you think about blockchain, you might think of it like you're coding, you're talking about smart contracts, you're talking about various other tools as a developer. But there are some certain parts of blockchain that you don't actually always interact with. Okay, think of it like this in a more relatable way. You don't code your IP when you're building a website in such a way that you don't actually work on some certain parts, get your hands on them actually, unless you want to, if you are building blockchain or interacting with smart contracts or writing tools.
So yeah, so it's more like trying to understand
the underlying stack of blockchain itself and how they are all connected together.
Yeah, of course, makes sense. Talking of layer 0 are infrastructures. They are tools. They are tools that allow different blockchains to communicate, right? So how do I see them as roads and pipes connecting different cities. So cities in this case are blockchains. So they allow cross messaging between two or more blockchains. So they basically relay messages from one blockchain to another. So if you're trying to build something that that needs two or more blockchains to communicate, then you
are essentially
you need layer 0.
So basically this is like the ground floor of that involves interoperability or perhaps communication itself. So if you are essentially a developer and you are building or working with cross-chain dApps or bridging protocols like Wormhole, you're essentially working in the layer 0 architecture level itself, because all of these things is essentially a skill. This is like the consensus-based layer for the actual core blockchain itself.
So if you are bridging an asset, let's say I want to bridge my asset from, let's say, Solana to Ethereum or to Polygon. So you basically need layer 0 architecture in that case, because they are the one that allow the cross messaging feature. So it's not like the asset is being taken from the source chain to the destination chain. So there is more to it actually, right? So because when it comes to bridging, you can either lock and mint or lock and unlock on the source chain and destination chain.
So what it just covers is
so what it covers is the
communication between the blockchains itself.
We have different layer 0 protocols. We have layer 0 itself, which
Wormhole is an example.
We have Wormhole, we have Polkadot, we have Cosmos, and we have a lot of them out there. So if you need to build anything that has to do with cross messaging, then you need the layer 0 architecture.
Exactly. So now let's talk about layer 1 of the blockchain itself. This is otherwise known as the blockchain core itself. This is what most people think about when they hear blockchain, because it powers the transaction. Basically, the transactions are recorded with this stage or this layer, and then you have your consensus mechanism. This is powers what's it called. What I'm trying to say is that one of the key responsibilities of this layer is that it powers your proof of stake. I think that's the consensus mechanism, right? And then proof of history too. It's just like the one that Solana has. And then it powers, basically when it comes to this decentralization, this is the layer in which it is being built. And this is what blockchain is essentially.
It's actually most secured when you compare it to other layers like layer 2, and there's a lot of traffic on it. That's why the gas fee is always high. So like
That's layer 2, right?
no, that's layer
Layer
1.
one, okay.
Like Ethereum, for example, you can see that the gas fee on Ethereum is very high due to the high traffic, high usage of what's it called, of the chain itself. So layer 1 are mostly like always busy, right? Ethereum, for example, is always busy. Like there's too much traffic on it, so that's why the gas fee is always on the high side. But now coming to layer 2, when you are trying to build a decentralized application that needs like a high throughput, then you come to layer 2. Like they kind of like abstract the traffic from layer 1. They abstract it and makes it kind of like
building on top of it.
Yeah, building on top of it.
Of layer
building
1.
on top of layer 1. So there's less traffic there. Then the gas fee is always relatively low. Do you get? So like Polygon is a layer 2 blockchain. Do you get? So though deep down, some of their transactions are still being recorded back to
layer 1.
But the thing is, when you need like an application that needs high throughput and you don't need like you want your user to always pay high gas fee, then you can always build it on layer 2 blockchain.
And one of the things is that what's it called? Not all chains are on the same layer. Like think about like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Those are layer 1 blockchains. And chains like Optimism, Polygon. I mean, the rule of thumb is that if a chain is built of another chain, it is essentially most of the time layer 2. Like layer 1 Bitcoin, layer 2 Ethereum, layer 1 Ethereum, and then if you have Optimism, which is an Ethereum EVM compatible chain, it is essentially layer 2 because this is built on top of a layer 1 blockchain. So layer 1 is the blockchain core itself, and then is the layer 2 is the system built on top of that blockchain core, right?
Yes. We can put it on that way. Yeah.
So if you are a developer, if you are working directly with Bitcoin or integrating Bitcoin, you essentially your interaction with Bitcoin is actually like layer 3, but the Bitcoin system itself is layer 1, and if you are doing something on Polygon, it's actually layer 2 itself.
Yeah. So that brings us to talk about layer 3 itself. Layer 3 are more like what users
application.
They are the applications that users use. These are the apps, like the apps, right? The decentralized applications. So decentralized application consists of like protocols building on top of blockchain, regardless of whatever layer it is on, either layer 1 or layer 2. So any decentralized application you are interacting with that is built on blockchain is basically like a layer 3 application. So they are layer 3 in short. So
and more on the layer 3 system that we're talking about is essentially like if you are a developer working with something like Flutter, React Native, Next.js, the integration in which you are doing and integrating like your blockchain integrations, your Solana integrations, the writing of the code itself, you're essentially on this layer, and that's where you're actually building on and interacting with. So in the hierarchy of the layered architecture, you're actually on layer 3 of the system itself.
So basically like the front end interacting with blockchain
layer 3. These are the application layer.
That makes sense. Makes more sense then. Talking about layer 4. Layer 4 is all about access and onboarding. Like it is the part where non-developers, non-coders like interact with. So when we're talking about assets, like or talking about basic interaction that does not really involve coding, you can think of you interacting with your wallet, like like MetaMask, Phantom, your Petra, yes, exactly. So all those wallets like that has to do with assets, right? And onboarding, and even like analytics, like dashboards. So they are just basic, like mere clicking and user interacting. So more like the interaction in that case. So it has nothing to do with code.
Yes, exactly. It's more about user experience rather than you interacting with code. It's kind of like when a system is built for conversion. Because on layer 3, you essentially build using your tech stacks,
Yes.
and then the layer 4 is actually when you are interacting with a system that has been built by blockchain engineers. So typically, let's talk about, like, in such an example would be your Trust Wallet application, in which you interact and just receive funds back and forth. You don't need to worry about it. Your Binance application, your Bybit application, this is like the user experience that is actually meant for the real world usage itself.
Exactly.
So one of the most common misconceptions is that, okay, you're DJing, you're into blockchain, but you're not a blockchain engineer. We are only on the layer 4, which is actually the interaction with the blockchain itself.
So more like layer 4 is interacting with layer 3, because layer 3 is the front end itself.
Exactly.
So makes more sense. So we have layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, then layer 4.
So all of those things are connected to one another. You need it's not like one layer is dependent on one part, but it's kind of like a pipeline that goes into one and another. You can actually work on layer 4 without needing to work on layer 3
or layer 0.
Exactly. So they're all connected, and you don't always need to work on 0 to work on 1. It's just about where you want to focus on.
Yeah, so having clear understanding of the specifics of different layers would help you navigate, like,
the world of blockchain itself.
The world of blockchain itself, especially when you are a developer. You know the right tool to put in place. So if you're not doing anything that has to do with cross messaging, I don't think you really have to deal with layer 0. Do you get? So, but if you are building like a bridging service, or you understand that involves cross-chain communication, then you have to consider layer 0. Do you understand? So,
and if you are building like a mobile application, that maybe a decentralized mobile application for your product, that means you are on layer 3 itself.
Exactly. So more like a front-end developer.
A front-end developer, web developer,
Web3 are actually building, they are building layer 3 stacks.
Exactly. Understanding layered architecture makes you think clearly about where innovation happens. And if you are building apps, wallets, protocols, knowing which layer that you're building on gives you clarity about the direction you want to go and the community that you're building for.
Like we've always said, blockchain is beyond cryptocurrency. It's like an operating system for decentralized innovations. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's the only way you can motivate us. It is not easy to put
all this together.
Right? So just like and subscribe. Thanks.